Okay, this is going to be a fun attempt at a world record lap because I'll be driving a Miata. And the car I own in real life just happens to be the same thing, just much, much older. It should be a fun experience. I've picked a nice, tight and small circuit to try and keep things interesting. I'm running the stock setup. Haven't changed anything. I'm just going to see what it can do. Okay, going into turn 1, we're going to try and find a good brake point. I braked a little bit too early. I'm going to feed into power and try and use up all the track so I can maximize my exit speed and reduce my lap time. Again, I'm braking just a bit too early. Looks like we're going to have to beat a 1 minute 28.432 lap. Really trying to just trail brake or fading onto the brakes and just kind of balance the car with throttle through that corner back there. So far this lap has been pretty tame. I haven't really pushed the car. I don't even think I've gotten the tires squealing yet. Now for this corner I always try and look to my left and use the brake marker signs to find my brake point. And I found one that is way too early. Barely carried any speed. Gonna hold second gear, try and prevent losing speed from changing gears, which every time you change gears you have to give up a little bit of time for that. Sometimes it's better just to hit the rev limiter and hold the gear that you're in. Okay, my first lap looks like I'm in the high 31s. But lots of room for improvement. Again, trail braking, fading off the brakes, giving more grip to the front end, letting me turn in sooner and brake later. It's all about getting to the power as soon as you can on this course. I'm going to hold third, just slide it in, grab second, and try and flick the car around. I can get to the throttle a little bit sooner. This car doesn't really have a lot of torque, so I don't have to worry too much about it upsetting itself coming out of the corner, but I go and do exactly that. Again, braking too early for this. This car has really nice brakes. Trying to open up the radius of that corner as much as I can. Allows me to carry more speed. The bigger arc means I have to brake less and turn less. Okay, this was a much better lap. Since this is a H-pattern vehicle, I am using my H-pattern that comes with my G27, so I'm trying to blip my downshifts, or heel toe, which is a process of rev matching as you brake at the same time. The concept is, when I go into a lower gear, my engine's going to need to be in a higher RPM. Prevent the car from kind of locking the rear end up. Because if the engine's spinning at, say, 5,000 RPMs, but well, not the gears, but the wheels need the engine to be spinning at 8,000 RPMs for it to smoothly transition down into that gear, you're going to kind of lurch forwards. But by blipping the throttle when you have the clutch pressed in for the downshift, I'm revving the engine up to that 8,000 RPMs. So when I actually put the clutch out and reconnect the transmission, it doesn't launch the car forwards and keeps the braking nice and smooth. Yeah, I tried going to third right there. Just no point in doing it. Got a little bit sideways coming out of that corner, but we kept it together. Okay, that was a
job. That's your best time so far.
Good couple of laps right there, but I think we can find a lot of improvement with the car's setup. So I'm going to restart the session and go into my tuning options. Gears, I can't do anything with them. Tires, I'm going to lower the tire pressure a bit. Look at my tire temps, it would suggest I need some camber and less pressure. Basically I've got my, I believe this is going to be outside, middle, and inside tire pressure. Basically, in the perfect world, I want my inside tire pressure just to be a bit warmer than my outside tire pressure, which means I'm getting a better contact patch in the corners, because in the corner it's going to flatten out that tire, and it's going to cause it to be even under load. Did a terrible job explaining that, but this all has a lot to do with camber, which is the next thing I'm going to adjust. So I'm actually going to run a little less tire pressure in the rear, kind of like I do in my real-life Miata. Fuel load, okay, I'm going to take a lot of fuel out of it. By reducing the fuel load, I'm obviously reducing the weight, making the car faster. Camber, I'm going to add more negative camber. Now in real life, you would pretty much go almost all of the camber. You'd be running 2-3 degrees of front camber in this guy if this was some sort of STR setup Miata. But since video games don't seem to appreciate the effects of camber as much as real life, you generally only want to be sitting at about 1. At least in my experience. I could be wrong. I haven't spent enough time tuning in this game. Toe, I'm just going to go 1 tick up in toe, which is actually going to be adding negative toe, which means the tires will be pointing outwards. Right now, it's still positive right now, which means the car is toed in, which is going to be, if you look from above, the frontmost edge of the tire would be sitting closer to each other than the rearmost edge of the front tires. And basically what that does is give you a little better torque response. And now in the rear, I actually want to do the exact opposite. I want absolutely 0 toe in the rear. So there we go, I've got that setting to 0. Now for the other side, I'm just going to make it even. And for camber, I'm going to pull a little rear camber out of it actually. Now I'm not sure how this car's suspension geometry works, but in simple terms, camber basically means the top of the tire is leaned inwards and the bottom of the tire is kicked outwards. Kind of looks like if you ever stepped on a toy car, the wheels kind of flatten out. That kind of helps, well, a little bit of it helps in keeping the car, well, on the road around corners, which is what I was talking about in the fourth setting I changed. More camber means I have more lateral grip, though it sometimes takes away front to rear grip, because since the car has a better contact patch in a corner, when the car is leaning, the camber compensates for that lean, but when it's in a straight line, you will basically be having just the inside edges of the tire contacting the road, which means a smaller contact patch, which means less grip. So let's see if these settings help us out. Clutch in, tack it up, let's go. So we are about a second off the world record time right now, but at least we did get into the 129s and a low one at that. So I feel we can make it. Car feels a lot looser right now, to be expected since I took away a little bit of grip in the rear, in the corners. Just tapping the brakes in here. I'm not going to full brake power because I don't want to slow it down too much. Otherwise it's going to bog through this section, which it still did actually. Did not get a very good run through there. Could have definitely made some more time up. Now you can see my Ghost faintly behind me, so this lap is definitely better. Gonna leave it in 4th gear even though you can hear the rev limiter. I'm gonna get back to the gas as soon as I can. Try and carry the speed through this corner. Not gonna bother trying to get that 3rd gear shift this time. It clearly was slower. I'm gonna turn in a little earlier to make sure I run right over that rumble strip. I feel like this lap is definitely faster. It's going to be difficult to get into the low 28s. Messed up my downshift there a bit, but I think I should be still good to go. For third overall on the RSR leaderboard. Hopefully at least get second. Of course, I'd like the world record. Try and use up a bit more carbon there. Get back to the gas sooner. Nope. Nose started to push wide. Got some of that understeer. There's definitely more time right there. Haven't quite found a good turn-in point for that corner onto this straight. And since it's such a long straight, getting that corner right is very important to carry the speed and reduce the time you spend on the straight. I'm going to go into fifth this time. Brake a lot later. Almost, yep, too late. Into the grass. Unfortunately, this car just runs out of gear at all the wrong times on this track. Can't believe I'm saying this about a Miata, but it could use taller gears. Yep, almost messed up that gear change. Go a little deeper in here, try and get a later apex. Trying to be smooth on the throttle, prevent from spinning up the rear tires. A little smoother in here, a little earlier on the steering input. There you go, we got a better run this time. Just gonna lift, then back on the gas. That felt much better. As you can see, our delta is going to be increasing all the way down this straight. Looks like we might get into the 28s on this run. I'm gonna leave it in fourth. Get to the gas as soon as I can. Use up all the track. Again, turn it early. Straighten out the exit as much as we can. Oh, we ran wide. That was a good lap too. Oh well, we'll try it again. And that would have been it too. Actually, no, it was a little bit off the world record pace. At least we know we can get close to it. A little too hot this time. We might still make it. A bit sloppy, but it will do. I'm gonna brake a little bit later this time. Not much, just a bit. That felt good. And we got a good run out. Nice line, I feel. Try not brake too much. Got a little bit too far sideways. Nice running on the carbs. There we go. I think we got a good exit here. Grabbing third a little bit early. Let's see what we can do. Not a bad lap. A little too deep this time, but we might be able to come back from it. Really trying to let the car rotate. Try and go a little bit deeper here. That kind of slowed the car a little too much. But we seem to be doing alright. exit. Nope, we definitely lost some time. I'll try and make it up here. Nope, doesn't look like we will. So we know we lost probably about a tenth through that section. Let's see if we can get it back. Okay, now we are truly using all the road. Our delta's about the same. Lightly on the brakes, keep the car settled. All over the rev limiter. Showing up this section here. Hold second a bit longer. Yeah, we lost some time again. Let's do it one more time. I think we're gonna run out of fuel. Yeah, we might run out of fuel before the end of this lap. We'll find out, I guess. We got a good exit. Oh, fuel levels look pretty bad. Now, if you notice, I didn't really rev match that downshift because I actually used it to help rotate the car by having it pull the rear end around. We are out of gas. We're not going to make it. Yep, the engine's still running. I'm not sure what it's running on. Right side, the car is as light as it's ever... There it goes. Okay, let's try this one more time, because I feel we can get this world record lap. I'm going to take one more drop of fuel out of it. And let's go. Try and get a good run here. Still. We got a pretty decent exit. It's all about not getting late. Once you get late, you start fighting the car, which slows you down. Feel like we're doing pretty well. This really isn't a long straight, but unfortunately the Miata being so underpowered, it feels like a long straight. A little bit loose. Gonna hold the rev limiter a little bit longer. Try and keep the car under control. Let the throttle rotate it. Looking very good. Got a nice exit. Here we go across the line. And we got it!
That's a world record lap. Well done.
Yes,
World record
success. A world record lap in my favorite car. Well, the fact that I own one makes me a bit biased, but still, it's a Miata. Let's watch the replay. So, where did the replay actually start? Okay, I think here's where we start. So we got a pretty good run into turn 1, had good speed. Just trying to get the car to rotate, let the nose point itself in before I get back to the gas, and then let the car's weight transfer just kind of pull the car around. Here I am again, just trying to keep the car under control. Now through here, this is all about not using all of the braking force. As you can see, I'm just tapping the brakes. It allows me to keep the momentum up and prevent the car from over-rotating. And And then through here, it was just all about keeping the speed up. Right here, I was braking a little bit too early still. I could have carried more speed, but it turned out to be enough. And again, this corner was another case of just not using too much brakes. 100% brake would have been too much. Just about brushing them, just enough to get the nose to point in. And all the way through here was just about steering the car with the throttle. Contrary to what people think about Miatas, even though they are underpowered, they respond really well to steering them with the throttle. Allows you to keep the RPMs up and maintain your lap time. Well, thanks for watching and have a great day.